Welcome back to a brand new episode of Charm City Beat. The NFL is over, and it's time to talk about a new league.
It's a new day.
Let's give a warm welcome back to the XFL. What is it, 2001 again? Like, holy crap.
20 years.
20 years.
Just
Jeez.
about.
And how many, I don't even have the stat or how many football leagues have tried, to establish themselves since then. But most recently, we know about the Alliance football, which you don't even remember.
Yeah, clearly didn't work out that much.
Yeah. So, let's break it down. So with the XFL, Vince McMahon, one of the richest people in entertainment, more notably known for the WWE, has decided to pour a bunch of money into a new football league. Not sure exactly, it's not made clear if his intentions are to rival the NFL, but I would assume, knowing Vince McMahon, probably.
Yeah. I would think. He's bringing in players that used to play in the NFL.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. But, there's a lot of new rules. They emphasize, at least in all the ads I've seen, all the, videos I've seen in my research, a very faster paced game. Less bullshit that I think a lot of NFL fans, are annoyed by, So right out the gates, a couple rules that struck me. The rules say the clock only stops within the 2-minute warning and on complete passes. But for incomplete passes, this is where it gets interesting. The clock starts when the ref spots the ball in the next play. Now, I'm a big college football fan, and college football is the exact opposite of that.
Right. And college football, in my opinion, those games last way too long.
Oh, my God. I can't tell you how many BYU games I've sat
It's an
through until like 2 in the morning.
Keep people on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
Every play is going to happen quickly.
Yeah, so, there's rules like that. I know there's a bunch of different rules with kickoffs. I know it sounds like it's going to be a no-huddle league, which, a lot of teams are running a lot of no-huddle with the clock not stopping, but I'm interested to see how they get people on and off the field. That's going to be interesting to me.
So for those who don't know, is this an indoor league or is this
It's outdoor.
Outdoor league?
It's outdoor, 100 yards.
Okay.
Full field.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking a legit league. Now, right now they only have a few teams, but, here at LitTube, we will be supporting the Defenders, DC. Who would have thought I'd ever be rooting for a DC team in football? I wouldn't have. But until they get a Baltimore team, they're our guys. But yeah, again, the XFL, with the NFL, let's just get that out of the way. The NFL is virtually a monopoly when it comes to professional football. Now, when you get to college, you have D1, D1AA, D2, D3, and then you even have the JUCO. And usually, to get in the NFL, chances are you have to be a standout in the D1. Of course, you have players like Joe Flacco, who's a D1AA stud at Delaware, who really shined. And
Carson
Wentz. There's people out there that do come through D1AA and it gets really ghostly D2, D3. But I look at this league because just looking at the DC Defenders roster, which we will get to, this looks like a type of league where a second chance league, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a chance for guys that maybe made a team as a free agent or as a one of those roster walk-ons who's on practice squad. Maybe had a cup of coffee with the league.
Yeah,
kick returner who made one too many fumbles and was kicked off the team. It's a chance for redemption. It's a chance to show up on a real field in relative prime time on a Saturday.
Yeah. And I went to a D3 school. A school that, you're probably not thinking about going to the NFL. If anything, you're just playing for fun. In any of the sports you're doing in D3, in D2, you're virtually playing because you truly do love the sport. There's no future in it, but hey, it's something fun to do while you go to school. But I think this could open up at least a gateway for Division II, Division I school, Division III schools to get some of their players in there.
Yeah, because a lot of those guys are as talented maybe because of grades or the ability to get on tape for scouts, or maybe because they played too late in high school. They ended up going to smaller schools, even though the talent was there. And it's tough. It's really tough to make an NFL squad if you can't get on radars. And obviously the NFL bets everybody, but it's tough when you're going up against lesser talent. So I think it's an opportunity to show, like, hey, I can play on Sundays and just give me a shot, even if it's a preseason.
I know with at least D3 schools, the school I went to, Stevenson, they had one player, Austin, Tennessee. He was a safety. He got invited to the Vikings training camp. Of course, didn't work out. But how many of those invites become draft picks in the XFL? That's exciting.
Yeah, probably. They have a draft?
Yeah, they actually did have a draft. They had a draft actually a few months back, actually, and I remember getting excited for it because I was hoping for a lot of BYU guys that, just didn't make that cut into the NFL to get there. Yeah, I could see like guys like Taysom Hill being like rock stars in that league. Like, maybe some players that, maybe an Antonio Brown, even if he ever gets his brain right. I don't know. Probably. Could you?
The face of the XFL.
Oh my God. It'd be insanity. Like literal insanity.
And to me, if you're Vince McMahon, if you can literally pull a Antonio Brown onto your, so if he doesn't play next year again, and it's like, hey, Antonio, come to DC Defenders, be the face of this franchise. People are going to tune in on Saturdays because if it's anything like wrestling, he's going to be able to say whatever he wants. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants, and it's a chance for, if he balls out, there's a chance the team, gives his agent a phone call because, hey, he just saw Antonio Brown go for $160, 4 touchdowns.
Exactly. And that's the other thing, and that does kind of scare me too, because it's like, all right, think of like if all these teams, let's talk Madden for a second.
Sure.
All these teams are rated like 60 compared to like NFL teams. Like their rating overall is like a 60 overall. You put like Antonio Brown against and you have him lined up against like a corner that went to like a school like, I don't know, Bowie. He's going to burn the shit out of him every play.
He's going to burn the crap out of Marlon Humphrey. He went to Alabama.
Yeah. I remember that. Still sore. I don't like that. I don't want to talk about that. But nonetheless, I digress. But yeah, you got someone like Antonio Brown, or even like a quarterback, for example, Johnny Manziel, looking for a second chance.
Joe Flacco,
yeah. I'm sure he still wants to play. Huh?
He's still in the contract.
Is he really?
For the Broncos, he's hurt.
That sucks. Damn,
but yeah, you get our point.
You get our point. It's going to be, I'm interested to see a lot of those guys that are going to get a second chance. Now, this isn't cheap. This isn't cheap at all. To compete against the NFL, you're going to have to spend some money. You're going to lose some money.
At least on the onset. So reports are coming out, I think an article from Daily Snark, which I think credited a radio show, said that Vince McMahon is spending close to $400 million over the first 2.5 years to sort of get this league off the ground. And the hope is that in about 2.5 years, if the league is still sustainable, TV contracts might start kicking in like $125 a year, $125 million a year. And so he's hoping after a few years, he'll get back into break even.
That would, yeah. I think that's the difference between the XFL and the Alliance is Vince McMahon. Those who don't know him, and if you've lived under a rock the last 30, 40 years, Vince McMahon is the CEO of the WWE. He took the WWE from his father's company, in the 80s and made it this larger-than-life entity after, with WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Hulk Hogan, The Rock. How many stars have come through that? So you have a guy that has a vision for greatness.
Sure.
And now he's able to pump new money into a football league. I'm not going to count him out.
And it's the XFL. It's probably the one league, other than maybe arena football, that I've heard of in my lifetime that actually had success, like sustained success for a short period of time. There's no reason why in this day of age you can't get that back off the ground. There's a ton of guys that could use it in the day of social media and everything to really up their, how much they're made aware of, letting people know that they exist.
Yeah, and that's the thing. With the XFL, if they play their cards right and the rules go how I think they're going to go and how the gameplay looks, I think a lot of those disgruntled NFL fans might switch over. And the thing that's lined up, and I don't want to say switch over, because that's almost like too tall of a mountain for the XFL to climb right now. But I think at least in the here and now, with the way it's set up, the XFL literally starts this weekend. The first games are this weekend. The Super Bowl just ended last weekend. So it's like, shit, football's over. Crap, I have to wait like months and months and months.
They're filling that gap.
And again, a lot of leagues have tried that. I remember there was the European Football League in the early to mid 2000s. I remember when I was in high school.
Which was the NFL.
Yeah, which was the NFL. And I wish they hadn't got rid of it. It was a good feeder system, almost like a minor league. And then you also had the Alliance, and then there was arena football. And, we've had some stars come through arena football, You had Kurt
Yeah,
Warner.
Kurt Warner comes to mind.
Tommy Maddox came from the XFL. Funny enough.
Yeah.
The true story.
It's definitely an opportunity for guys, especially quarterbacks who might be that dual threat Lamar Jackson type, that I think NFL coaches are still a little wary about building an entire program around him. And then this guy goes, to an XFL team and does the same thing that he would do on Sundays, making guys miss in space, making tight throws. And all of a sudden it's like, let's at least get him on a team as a backup, like a Trace McSorley, that type of player. Like a guy that played really well in college, got some looks, maybe got cut by an NFL team, isn't being picked up, chance to at least play, keep himself relevant, essentially. And if you team up with a guy like Antonio Brown, my God.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about it. Let's just take a step back for a second and look at a lot. Like, you got to think with the NFL, your third string quarterback, your third string running back is still significantly better than most other athletes in the world.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to get into the NFL, just to get there, do you realize how good you have to be?
They're absolute monsters.
So think about it. Let's you know what? I'm wearing it on my chest. Let's talk about a Jamal Williams or a Taysom Hill. Jamal Williams, he's not going to start in Green Bay. I don't think he will. I don't think that, honestly, Jamal Williams will start over, what's his name again? I can't remember his name. Green Bay's running back. Whatever. I don't see Jamal Williams starting. So here's a guy like Jamal Williams who still wants to play, wants to ball out. He would be a superstar in the XFL. He was a monster at BYU. Taysom Hill, with what he can do.
But just the difference is, are they going to give Taysom Hill the money he'd get in the NFL? And the answer, probably not.
That's a different.
So Jamal Williams is already making millions.
Yeah, he's already making the millions.
Taysom Hill,
six figures.
I think that's a slight bad example because when you get in that playoff game, he's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid somewhere.
I think he's primed to be put in. The Saints use him really well. I think he could do even more in a playbook. I think they're just starting to hit the top of the iceberg with that guy.
Yeah. So, but I mean, again, you have these players that come from a smaller name.
But to your point, the ability
they would be superstars. So instead of going the NFL route, of course, every kid's dream that plays football, I want to play in the NFL. Like, that's the end game for almost any kid. But that doesn't always happen. Or you're not always going to start and you're going to ride the bench for years. Why not play in a league like that?
And the other thing is, like, say Jamal Williams, 3 or 4 years and he's out, like a Buck Allen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a chance to keep your career alive a little bit longer. You've been paid, at least a little bit. You have money to fall back on. You're going to get paid by the XFL. And if you do well enough, you may get that phone call and come week 15, week 16.
Exactly.
You're back on a football team for playoff run. You just lost their second running back or their lead running back.
Yep. Now, that's something, I've always, like, being a football fan, baseball has always had that minor league. Like, oh, man, our first baseman got injured. Let's call somebody up real quick.
Yep.
Football, you can't do that. Football's like, shit, Lamar Jackson goes down. Who do we have? Oh, RG3, shit, good luck.
Yeah, it's true. And I think teams do kind of feed off the scout teams, but the talent level is so much different between a starter and a number two that if you can do just a little bit to prove yourself a little bit better than the rest of the backup quarterbacks out there, you'll get a job.
Exactly. Now, I don't want to count it again. I don't want to count the XFL out, and I don't want to say, oh, they'll just be a feeder system, because who knows? In 5 years, when TV deals change and with the way media is going, we could be saying this is a rival football league. We don't know, but like right now, it's very exciting. I've been following for the last 2 years since it's been developing, since it was announced, and I was really excited. And I know they're starting with only a few teams, and they're probably planning to expand later. But specifically, we talk about the DC Defenders around here.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So first game versus the Seattle Dragons at 2 p.m. Saturday at Audi Field in DC. So again, rooting on a DC team that actually has a stadium in DC. All right. Who would have thunk it? Let's start by the players to watch. So right out the gates, the quarterback, Cardell Jones.
Remember him.
For those of you that don't remember him, he went to Ohio State, started for Ohio State in the national championship, and was drafted by the Bills in 2016 in the 4th round. He played for the Chargers and the Seahawks. He brings experience. He's played in the NFL. He's played at that level, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
He's a great, Why not build a franchise around him?
This is probably the same amount of talent you might get in a Big Ten.
You know, and then next up, the running back, Donnell Pumphrey, was the all-time leader in rushing yards in NCAA Division I FBS history for San Diego State. We're not talking about people that, you know, put up a few good games. Like, we're talking like ballers.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, Cardell Jones made the best of his opportunity playing in the national championship. Donnell Pumphrey, a rushing, like, god in Division I AA, you know? And then there's also wide receiver Ross Rashad, who played for Arizona State.
Former Panther.
Has NFL, you know, experience. And this is a funny one. Matt Elam, former 2013 first-round pick out of Florida for the Ravens and was eventually cut. Even he's here.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to see him play, honestly.
I am interested.
Out of, like, memory lane thing.
Yeah, exactly. And
he was not very good for the Ravens.
He wasn't. And they had so much hope for him. It's so sad.
I remember this next guy, too, because he was at training camp a few years ago.
I remember him very well because he played for BYU, and I watched him.
Double whammy.
DeAndre Wesley.
He's probably the best right tackle in this entire league.
Yeah, I dare say. The team he was on the Ravens for years.
Yeah, so,
like he was there for a little bit. I remember him for a couple of years.
He's a legit former NFL players. A lot of them. They were definitely college stars that you were talking about on draft day a little bit.
Exactly.
I mean, Matt Elam was a first-round draft pick,
Matt Elam,
All-American. Yeah, Florida.
Of all schools, like you're not talking like some small name school. You're talking about Florida.
It's a Gator.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. I mean, obviously not that excited because it's Matt Elam, but
yeah, I think as Ravens fans, we're a little excited about
But he's a big fish in a small pond now, and I think it's a chance for you're going to see some good football.
Do I expect to see Matt Elam suit up in the NFL again? I don't know. Probably not. I think this is where he stays, and he's going to be a superstar there if he plays his cards right.
It's a chance to play in a very competitive league. It's not like you can play pick up salt. If you want to play tackle football against legitimate players, there's not really many avenues. And this is a chance for any player that's been either out in the league or had his cup of tea or wasn't quite good enough then to make it or played a position like quarterback where it's really tough to make an NFL team.
Yeah.
It's a chance to, maybe one last ride, maybe a chance to get back into the NFL, maybe a chance because I guarantee you there will be NFL scouts at these football games.
No question.
It's literally like a combine for a lot of these guys.
I think here's the thing. I think a few scouts might be a little hesitant. I think even the media to a degree, because even I was saying, before I watched ESPN and Fox Sports 1 all day. The only thing I really saw of the XFL was on Fox Sport, and that's because they had the little blurb. And there's a contract with the WWE. There's a big money contract between World Wrestling Entertainment and Fox right now.
I think it's early, but I think as soon as you get that 95-yard Hail Mary pass for a touchdown, you get the juking of Cardell Jones.
Get the highlights out
there.
Matt
Elam hitting somebody really hard across the middle, where I guarantee you the flags aren't as prevalent as the NFL.
Yeah.
You're going to get top 10 plays on ESPN. You're going to get interviews with guys like Vince McMahon, guys like DeAndre Wesley. I mean, if they get any type of superstar from the NFL, any type of player, like if Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, he's not going to the NFL.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, right?
Yeah.
The Browns.
Oh, yeah.
He could very well end up in the XFL if he continues down his path of crime. But it's like...
it's like
any player like that
longest yard.
Messes up. I mean, who's the player from the Browns that got nailed for weed for like the fourth time?
The receiver. Yeah.
Like
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon would be a superstar in the XFL, and all it would take... I mean, the NFL would have to lift his ban, but a player like that, a couple games where he had 100 yards receiving, and he's making plays on... I mean, these guys don't make, replay in the NFL.
No.
It's backup. But if you're suddenly getting on people's television screens on Monday
people
morning,
are going to see you. Here's the thing. And I've said this about college football. I've said this 1,000,001 times. I enjoy watching college football because in my mind, yes, the NFL is playing at a much higher level. But in college, you're fighting to get somewhere.
Yeah.
These guys in the XFL, yes, they're going to love being the face of these new franchises. They're going to love trying to be these new household names in a no-name league that people aren't really tuning in yet. But they're going to be grinding so hard that I feel like the level of competition is going to be there. I mean, I thought that it was going to happen in the Alliance, and I'm not saying it didn't because I think the Alliance had a few, I don't even know how to describe the Alliance, and that could be a separate video in itself. But I feel like the marketing wasn't there. Money obviously wasn't there.
That's the difference, I think.
And the thing is, you're talking about a Vince McMahon product, and at least in the 30 years I've been alive, Vince McMahon, everything he's done, no matter how little people watch WWE, it's still making millions.
He's a savvy businessman,
He is.
and I think he knows what he's going to do. And he has ideas of how to make this league relevant. And
Exactly.
it does come, ultimately, it comes down to the superstar. If you can get 2 or 3 guys that will move the needle, people will tune in to see Johnny Manziel throw a football.
Yeah.
People will tune in to see Antonio Brown. People will tune in to see any of these guys play.
Yeah.
Rashad Perriman, if he does, those kind of guys, that fringe guys in the NFL. I think he's still in the NFL. He's still now.
Yeah, he was actually blew up.
He's former Ravens.
Bucks,
But there's a chance that anybody that sort of fell out of favor in the NFL, that household name, like a Tim Tebow, for instance, if it was 10 years ago.
Tim Tebow. Yeah, 10 years ago, Tim Tebow would be a superstar in this.
And that's honestly what they'll do. There's a ton of guys that they can get from.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I'm going to pay very close attention to this league, and I think we all should because, again, I'm curious with the gameplay and then how that ties in with the draft. I'm interested when they draft, number one, because the NFL has April on lock with the draft. How's that? I guess it would be like maybe a summertime draft or something like that, maybe?
Yeah,
I can't imagine
it had to be
draft,
after the NFL. I don't know. But
because that's the thing.
The NFL has to be slightly worried about this because all of a sudden the XFL is going to be taking players that otherwise would be getting on the NFL teams. Potentially. I still think if you're a player, you'd rather be on the scout team for the NFL than potentially the XFL, unless you think that showcasing your skills on Saturdays would bring you. But the thing is, the season takes place before the draft. So by the time the draft happens, the season's.
Yeah. And that's what's going to be really interesting. And like I said, we're going to be doing a lot more research. Like I said, we're going to be covering them a lot this season because I'm truly interested to see what the XFL can do round 2.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you have a lot of money being poured into this and like you said, this man's a very smart businessman. I don't believe he would do something, lightheartedly. I'm pretty sure he's all in with this.
Oh, yeah.
If you're willing to lose, gonna lose $400 million.
Yep.
I don't care how much money you're worth. That's an astronomical amount of money. You're saying that we're in it for the long haul. Let's hope for the best. So, that does it for our episode. We're going to be covering the DC Defenders and the XFL all this spring, and we're going to see where it goes. We're excited for a new local team, hopefully to bring Baltimore and DC together until Baltimore gets their own team. I'm hoping for it. But thank you for tuning in. As for Jordan and myself, don't forget to like and subscribe. And whether you're listening on the podcast or watching on LitTube, take care and have a good night.
See you next time.
Go Defenders.